everyone. Welcome to our asynchronous event, Connecting with Alumni and Professionals, How to Reach Out Intentionally, presented by me, Stephanie Lou Rojas. I am the Assistant Director of the Writing Center, and Carolina Rodriguez. Would you like to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Carolina Rodriguez. I'm the Assistant Director for Career Development at the Pitzer College Career Services Office.
So, one of the important things about making connections is so that you can learn more about the field or the major that you're interested in. And making connections can be very simple, which we'll talk about more people within Pitzer and people outside of Pitzer, alums and outside as well. You also learn more about specific company or the industry. You get to know people professionally and their academic or professional trajectory. You'll be able to build professional relationships. And in a few years, people will actually come to you to want to connect. Most important, when connecting and conducting informational interviews, you're getting to know the professional and the profession. It is never about asking for the job or the internship. It is about building the relationship to get to know them, the community, and the company. So, who would you want to connect with? So many people you can connect with: Pitzer alum, the 5C alum, faculty, professionals within the field or the major that you're interested, and even recruiters of the company.
So perfect. So how to connect, right? There's various different ways that you can connect as a student and as an alum. So career services events, for example, are really great ways for you to connect. As you can see, I kind of listed some info sessions that we have where we bring alumni, sometimes trustees, to Pitzer College, whether it's virtual or in person. So we have a few coming up in February and in March, and we have these throughout the semester. So keeping an eye out in those career services events, not just at Pitzer, but at the Seven Cs as well. They host a lot of alumni, and you're more than welcome to attend too. The Pitzer faculty directory. So the directory is on the Pitzer College website. You can actually check out their CVs to learn more about their background and learn where they went, right? Or like where did they work before Pitzer? The Pitzer Professional Directory, which you can get access through My Campus 2 portal. You can log on there and see different alumni from industry or fields, what they majored in, and you will actually get their personal email. And so we'll talk about later in the presentation how to reach out to alumni through email or Pitzer parents as well. LinkedIn, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and then of course through email too. Awesome. So a few LinkedIn basics. So the first and most important thing before connecting with anyone, not just an alum, is you want to have your profile filled out before you start connecting with anyone. So that includes have the about section filled out. So this tells the reader or whoever's looking at your profile a little bit about yourself. Have a picture as well. You want to make sure that they know who they're talking to. So a professional picture would also be very helpful. Education. So especially if you're connecting with Pitzer alumni, right? They'll probably look at your education and see like, oh, they're going to Pitzer or they're an alum from Pitzer. Volunteer experience, skills, and then also your work experience, right? So here I included work experience from Pitzer. So, what's your position, where you worked, the time in which you were there, and then of course detailing not just for the alumni who you're connecting with, but for anyone, what you did in those positions. So that's definitely important, is filling out your profile, and the career services team can help you do that as well if you need any help. Perfect. So one thing that a lot of people don't know is that you can actually hide yourself or change your visibility of your profile and network. So when you first create a LinkedIn profile, it will come up with your name and headline, which will be your first name, your last name, and the headline that you choose. So whether, it's Pitzer college student majoring in biology, etc. But if you're starting to want to connect with people and just want to make a list of either recruiters, alumni, or other people in the field that you're interested in, and you're doing a lot of searches, you might want to go to private mode. That way they don't know who's looking at their profile. But of course, if maybe you're actively looking for an internship or for a job and you want recruiters or you want Pitzer alumni to know that you're looking at their profile, then you might want to do your name and headline. But if you're kind of just doing the research first, then I would definitely suggest changing the anonymous LinkedIn member or maybe someone at Pitzer College. That way they don't know who's looking at their profile because most likely they will get a notification saying so and so saw your profile, which is okay if you're looking for those jobs and internships and your profile is up to date. But if you're not quite there, then I would suggest changing to anonymous LinkedIn member. Perfect. The first step in finding alumni using LinkedIn is you'll look up Pitzer College on LinkedIn and you'll go to the Pitzer College LinkedIn page. This is kind of the home page that you'll see. And you see these tabs where it says home, my employer, about, post, jobs, alumni, insight videos. You'll want to click on the alumni tab. And in the next slide, you will get a filtered out kind of list where you get to choose alumni based on where they live, where they work, what they do, and what they studied. So for example, if maybe you're in the New York area and you want to see alumni that are in the greater New York area, you'll choose that. And then you can filter it out also by where they studied. So maybe you're looking to go into economics and you want to do some informational interviews with alumni in New York that majored in econ, you'll click on those filters and from 7,914 alumni, it will narrow it down to those alumni who are in the New York area who majored in that specific field. You can also type in keywords or companies. So if you're looking for an alum who maybe works at Netflix because you looked for internships there and you're like, oh, I might be interested in Netflix and I want to learn a little bit more, then you can also type in the keywords in the search box. And it will also filter out those alumni that specifically work at Netflix. So this is a really great way because again, 7,914 alumni, that's a big number. And so you want to make sure that you're filtering it down based on, where they work, what they do, what they studied, or even where they live. So that, when we're in person, you can go and have coffee, right, with an alum or anyone else in the field. Perfect. So let's say you found an alum, that works at Netflix, and you're like, okay, they went to Pitzer and they're doing what I want to do. How do I connect with them? At the top, right next to their picture and their headline, you'll see these three that say connect, message, and more. You'll want to click on the connect button. And when you click on the connect button, it will ask you if you want to add a note. Always, whether it's someone that like you previously maybe met or you've never met, most importantly, you always want to click add a note. And then it'll take you to this text box that says add a note to your invitations. You only have 300 characters, so you don't have a lot of room to kind of, explain who you are, etc. So really be intentional with this, right? And send a personalized message. So for example, let's say you're connecting with an alum, you can say, Dear Steve, I see that you graduated from Pitzer. I'm interested in the field and would like to, I'm excited to hear more about the work that you're doing at the specific company that they work at. If you have any free time in the coming weeks, I'd love to meet for a virtual information session. Thank you so much and hope to talk to you soon. So sending that personalized message can help you have them connect with you back, right? Because if they've never met you, they might be like, who is this person? They might look at your profile, which is again why that's so important for you to fill out your profile, but make sure to add that note too.
So when you're connecting through email, you might have questions about what should I write? How should I write it? What kind of tone should I use? What is the level of professionalism should be applied to the email? So these are all thoughts, that we're all thinking about, and it's always best to be as welcoming and as cheerful, as professional as you can. And what I mean by that is first introduce yourself. So you can say, dear, like what we saw in the other one, dear Steve, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, or um, to and their name. So here's an example of an email where the person has introduced themselves. I am Catherine Sachen, a recent graduate from Pitzer College, where I received my Bachelor of Arts in Political Science, excuse me, itchy throat, and Political Studies. I am currently finishing up my internship as a consulting intern. So therefore, Catherine has introduced herself, said that where they went to college and what they studied, which is applicable to the job that or the information that she wants to obtain about a certain job or a company. She's also explaining their experience, which is they work at PwC as a consulting intern. And they also talk about how they got about this email information. So Julie Claremont, who is a current supervisor at PwC, suggested that Catherine reach out and mentioned your name. So it's good to say first who I am, where I'm from, what I did, and how I came about your information. So it kind of connects that network right there. Otherwise, this person's going to think, who are you? How did you get my information? So that's why it's also important to have this information on your LinkedIn, because they might look you up on LinkedIn as well. And then your second paragraph is about what you want to do, what information you're trying to find, why you're excited to learn more about this new company or about this job that you're trying to find out more information from. So it says, as a recent graduate, I have been looking for full-time consulting opportunities. PwC has been an amazing experience, and I'm now taking the time to connect with professionals in the consulting field to learn more about how they made the transition of intern to full-time professional. So now now Catherine is explaining why she's writing this email, because she's interested in the positions and the professions and the career choice that this person has made specifically and wants to talk to them more about it. And then is the closer. I wanted to reach out and see if you were available and willing to meet for an informational interview in the next few weeks. I would really like the opportunity to learn more about your professional journey and learn about the work you do at Accenture. So here's the closer where they're saying that I want to meet with you. If you're available, great. Let's talk in the next few weeks. I want to learn more about you, your company, your career choices, whatever it is that you've done to be where you are at. And that shows that you're making that initiative to learn more about the professional, the career trajectory of certain fields. And then you end it with, I look forward to connecting with you soon. And you can say sincerely or best regards, Catherine Sagen. You'll also notice that there's a signature where it says Pitzer College Bachelor of Arts Political Studies and PwC Consulting Firm or Consulting Intern. And this is basically their title along with their background information. This you can include so that they are reminded, like what you said in the first paragraph, what it is that you do and where you came from. Some people like to also include their preferred pronouns, which you can also do. That's entirely up to you. It's your stylistic choice. So let's talk more about informational interviews. What are informational interviews? Informational interviews is an approach in which you interview a professional in a career field that interests you. And by doing so, you can meet key professionals in that field, gather career information, so you can find out what it is that they did, what entry-level job they started with, and what other jobs after that they took in order to get to where they are, and investigate career options. This allows you to think of all the different ways in the past that you can take. So although you might not be the exact same position as this letter that Catherine has written to, you might have other options that you can go into. So obtain advice about job search techniques and obtain referrals for other professionals. Information interviews is a form of networking where you get to know people, get some advice about career choices, challenges that they've overcome, and maybe some questions that they might have as well about the position. Getting this information helps you learn more about the position, helps you learn more about the career choices that are best for you. So some questions that you might want to ask while conducting an informational interview are listed right here. First one, can you tell me about your career path and what led you to the role you're in today? What were some of your early roles in the field? What does a workday look like for you? What do you enjoy most about the work you do? What are the most excited about right now? What do you enjoy the least? Is there something that surprised you about the role when you first started? What skills do you think are most important for someone interested in a job like yours? What do you wish you'd know when you were starting out in this career or role? The key to these questions is to ask questions to get more information about the choices that you can make. So, whether the career path is marketing, whether the career path is education or in STEM and lab research, you're asking them what it is that they did and what they can do to get a better sense of where you can go once you graduate Pitzer.
And also,
Hmm.
you can also tweak these questions like to your liking. So if you're meeting a Pitzer alum, maybe you want to ask, while you were at Pitzer, like what did you get involved that helped you get this role, right? Like, or who was your faculty member? Like, what kind of things did they recommend for you? What are some ways that as a college student at Pitzer in the Claremonts, like, did you do to elevate your resume, right? So if you are talking to those Pitzer alumni, make sure to tweak it, right? Learn a little bit about their experience at Pitzer and how it helped them to get to where they are, right? So again, this is just a really small list of questions that you can ask, and but definitely do your research on the position, on the company, and the specific trajectory that they had, right? Using LinkedIn, that can definitely help in you creating the questions that you want.
Absolutely. Remember that you want to keep it to your interests and pertain it to you. You make it specific to what it is that you want to do, what questions you have, any questions that you have about the job, about advising, about mentorship, anything at all. Ask. They'd be happy to share with you how they did it, what they did, how they, asked other people for advice. Maybe they did informational interviews. You can ask about that too. What did you do in your information interviews? Who did you talk to? What questions did you ask? Or what questions did you wished you asked but didn't? Oftentimes, people in the professions realize that they would have asked these questions had they known that these questions existed or this information existed back then but didn't know. So since they have gone through that similar process, they would be able to help you think of the questions that they wished they asked. Thank you, Carolina. So, if you need help in asking these questions, fine tuning these questions, or even writing that email for an informational interview, the Career Services in the Writing Center can help you with that. We provide all kinds of support, not just in finding jobs or networking or helping you fine tune and draft your resume and your cover letter, but we're here to help you through that interview process or the start of an informational interview process as well. The Career Services has drop ins Monday and Thursday at 4 to 5 p.m. There's your Zoom ID right there where they have one-to-one advising. You can also make appointment on Handshake. And then the Writing Center, we have appointments available on the online scheduler at pitzer.mywconline.com, or you can email us at writing@pitzer.edu if you have any questions or specific requests. We definitely can help. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you for watching this asynchronous event. Again, if you need anything, just send us an email.
Thank you.